Alarms over the euro's future are sounding in the heart of Europe. European Commission President José Manuel Barroso warned the single currency could collapse unless governments are more economically integrated. Eurocrats are currently pitted against Germany as Chancellor Angela Merkel has once again rejected the idea of collective borrowing for the region. Well, let's get more from financial analyst and host of the Keiser Report here on RT, Max Keiser. Max, good to see you here on RT. Now, markets panicked after Barroso's comments, but it's not the first time he's called for more centralised economic control. It really is it not time for Brussels to get on and do its job and tell everybody what to do to get them out of this mess?
Well, what they're going to tell them is to try and pool all of their debts and to refloat all of their debts into a massive European-wide pool of debts that they're going to try to get others around the world to finance. Think of it in terms of this recent offering of Groupon, which was a known and notorious Ponzi scheme. They took it public for $18 billion. Now it's crashed through the IPO price, trading for many billions of dollars less. But for a brief shining moment, it looked good. So this is what they're trying to do in the eurozone. They're trying to refloat trillions of debt and say it's a brand new day, and it'll look great for about maybe 20 minutes, but then we'll be back to exactly where we started, which is massive debt deleveraging, sovereignty being lost amongst all these eurozone countries, and predatory IMF bankers on the loose, rogue bankers looking to destabilize countries for a quick buck.
But isn't Germany worried about this Eurobond scheme? It says it'll probably have to cough up more than the rest. And indeed, Germany's position today, Max, what's going on there? It saw its worst bond auction ever. What is happening with Angela Merkel now disagreeing with her European neighbours, and indeed the country itself showing signs of vulnerability?
Yes, it's very interesting, isn't it? Germany is, on principle, against buying up ECB bonds or monetizing ECB bonds, but the Bundesbank was buying up the Bund bond today. So it's okay for Germany, but it's not okay for the eurozone. And this is just opening up all the antagonisms between all these European countries. The euro was supposed to restore peace and harmony in the eurozone, but they're breaking down along country-by-country divisiveness once again, and this can't end good, because these countries, let's not forget, have spent hundreds of years at each other's throats. Now we're back at it.
Can you not see any optimism whatsoever in Greece and Italy? Finally, people there seem to know what they're doing. Getting in the experts, the technocrats, is better than having the politicians there, isn't it? It seems to me that, or to others and commentators, that maybe that is the right way forward.
Technocrats, you have been drinking the Kool-Aid. These are just banksters. Look, you have to understand, I look at what's happening on Twitter, for example. You've got a Twitter war going on between Nouriel Roubini, a technocrat-type character, and Jim Rickards, who just came out with a book called Currency Wars. Jim Rickards gets it. He understands we're in an era of zero reserve banking and that this is a systemic problem. Nouriel Roubini, of course, doesn't get it. He's an academic who thinks all you need is a new model and a new theory. If you follow guys like Roubini, you're going to go straight down into massive bankruptcy across the entire globe. You have to understand this is a systemic problem that requires a total re-architecting of the system and a total execution in one way or another of these banksters that are just predatory leeches, a cancer on the system. They add no value. They simply make things worse so that they can profit from the chaos.
I knew if I mentioned the word technocrat and their connection with banking, that'll get you going, Max. Listen, you're in France there at the moment. See the Eiffel Tower behind you. Investors have already stopped treating it as a country with a AAA score. Surely, with that sort of credit rating, what's the problem there? Why should they be scared?
The only thing that keeps France in a AAA rating is the quality of the cheese. And I'm afraid once the Camembert and the Brie lose their integrity, France will be sliding down the slippery slope of ratings downgrades along with everyone else. No, seriously though, the rating in France is overrated. There are no AAA credits anymore. There's a zero reserve banking system around the world. Nobody's got the cash to service their debts, except for the IMF, who's borrowing from other like-minded global institutions that are imposing the austerity measures. This is all backed up by austerity measures, which is heading back toward a situation of the 1% even getting more egregiously wealthy at the expense of everybody else. We're going back to medieval days of lords and serfs.
Just finally, briefly, Jose Manuel Barroso warning the single currency could collapse. That's not very helpful coming from him, is it? But do you agree with him?
It all depends on what Germany wants to do. Germany loves the single currency because it's cheap, thanks to the problems in the peripheral countries. It helps their exports. If there's a breakup, they get to bust out of the eurozone with the reunified country with a huge export superpower. And so they win in either way. This is why more and more countries are beginning to really hate Germany again, because they see that at the nexus of all these problems, you have a conniving central bank of Germany and politicians in Germany who are playing the system for themselves, and they're sacrificing the eurozone once again. Historically, we would expect that.
Great talking to you, Max. Max Keiser, live there in Paris. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts.